What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full Sunday of Week 9 NFL football action here on November 2nd. I'm going to give out picks on every single game today. We're going to go plays against the spread and a few over-under spots, and I'll give you my favorite underdog and my massive lock of the day, so buckle up. We have a great video for you today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily videos, and comment down below with anything you're looking at today across the sports world. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injuries and player availability being confirmed. Last week, guys, some ups, some downs. We got off to a little bit of a rough start there. We had the Bengals at -6, and it was a huge choke job there from Cincinnati, getting outscored 23-7 in the fourth quarter to end up losing 39-38. Joe Flacco played relatively well, but in the running game even got going there for Cincinnati. Their defense was so bad, though, they made the Jets look like a real football team. So not a great look there. A little bit of bad luck there on the Giants, +7.5. A 38-20 loss for the Giants as that gruesome injury there to Scatabo really seemed to take the wind out of their sails. I can't say I blame them, honestly, and the Giants' defense was terrible, and they had no answer there for the Eagles, really in any facet of the game. So a rough one there on the Giants. We did bounce back quickly, though. We had the Texans, -2.5, a comfortable 26-15 win there for Houston, with their defense playing great, and C.J. Stroud having a very productive day, all without getting sacked. Marks and Chubb did a great job in the ground game, and it didn't hurt that the 49ers were still very, very banged up. We also cashed the Denver Broncos, -3.5, a 44-24 blowout win there for Denver over the Cowboys. Bo Nix had 4 touchdown passes, and J.K. Dobbins went nuts in the running game. Defensively holding Dallas to only 24 points is for sure a pretty good day, and they picked Dak off twice. So a great showing there from Denver. Unfortunately, the Steelers on Sunday Night Football could not get the job done for us. They were +3. They were our dog of the day. Taking Mike Tomlin as a home underdog, especially coming off a big loss, is usually a great idea, and the Steelers were winning 16-7 at halftime, but the Packers dominated the second half, and Pittsburgh eventually lost by 10. Their defense is just terrible this season. There's no real way around that. We did cash the Bills at -7 as our massive lock of the day. It was a very, very easy win there for the lock of the day. Buffalo came out and destroyed the Panthers 40-9 behind a monster running game from James Cook and a good day from Josh Allen. Defensively shutting down a backup quarterback feels like kind of a given. Buffalo is also coming off their bye week, which was definitely very helpful. So not a banner day necessarily, but 3-3 in cashing our massive lock of the day is not an awful Sunday out there, especially on a pretty volatile day. So we're going to get back after it, guys. We'll recap what we did last week on the premium side in the NFL as well, and we're going to go ahead and dive in right now. We got a ton of games to cover. It's a very, very busy week. And first up, we're going to be looking at the Chicago Bears as they head to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bears come into this game 4-3 on the season, fresh off a 30-16 loss last week at Baltimore. Kind of a rough spot there for Chicago. This is a very desperate Baltimore team they were going up against. It was Tyler Huntley, so not a whole lot of excuses here for the Bears. I mean, we saw Caleb Williams have a mediocre day. He did pass for 285 yards, but was picked off once, threw 0 touchdowns, and was sacked once. He ran the ball 3 times for 24 yards. Great. That's not really too special. Swift had 45 yards on 11 carries and a touchdown of his own. Nobody went really nuts there in the receiving game except for Rome Odunze, had 114 receiving yards. Very, very good work there, but the defense for the Bears looked terrible. Couldn't stop Huntley. Definitely couldn't stop the running attack there of Baltimore, giving up 30 points, generating 0 turnovers and only 2 sacks against a backup quarterback. That is not a good day at all. So looking at the injury report here as the Bears try and bounce back, it's a very, very crowded injury report coming into this game, guys. We've got basically every single skill player here on the injured list. We'll see who's actually possibly going to play in this game. Swift dealing with the groin injury. He did not participate in practice there on Thursday. So that is a huge deal here for the Bears. If he doesn't play, that is a big, big problem. Also, fantasy owners, keep a close eye on that. Rome Odunze, was a limited participant in practice there on Thursday with his heel issue. So I think there's a good chance that he plays, especially coming off that monster day. DJ Moore dealing with hip and groin issues was a limited participant in practice on Thursday. So there's a good chance he plays. And Zacchaeus, guys, his knee issue, he practiced a little bit there on Thursday, so there's a chance he'll be out there, but he doesn't really move the needle too much for me. Their tight end also was a limited participant in practice. Sounds like he's probably going to play, but once again, that's a guy that doesn't move the needle for me too much. So the Bears a little bit banged up there on offense. On defense, they're pretty much fully healthy. Not that they looked good on defense last week, and now they go on the road, and it can be a little bit tough taking on the Bengals. They've got a lot of skill players. In Cincinnati, not having the best time, obviously only 3-5 on the season, but in a down year in the AFC North, they're definitely not out of the mix. Last week, a 39-38 loss against the Jets in a game they definitely let get away. Flacco, 2 2 touchdowns, 223 yards. He was sacked once, but not a terrible day from him. The running game looked really, really good out there. Probably a situation where they could have controlled the game a little bit more. 3 rushing touchdowns, including Joe Flacco running for a touchdown. You don't see that every day. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins only getting 2 targets is crazy. Jamar Chase getting 19 is also insane. So we'll see what happens with that whole situation in this game. Defensively getting shredded by the Jets kind of feels like par for the course here for a Cincinnati Bengals defense that's been terrible this season. There's really no great way to sugarcoat that. They're last in the NFL, giving up 31.6 points per game. Not a great look. Not a great look for this team on defense. And in terms of their injury report, Flacco is technically questionable for this game. I would be pretty surprised to see him not play. He was on the field there at Thursday practice. He's dealing with a shoulder issue, but I do think he'll probably play. And other than that, they are fully healthy on offense. On defense, they're so bad defensively, I don't know how much their injuries on defense matter, but we do see Hendrickson questionable, Logan Wilson also questionable, so we'll see if they can make a return. Sounds like Hendrickson did not participate in practice on Thursday. Not a good sign. And Logan Wilson, he also did not practice. So not a great sign here for an already bad Bengals defense. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Cincinnati is getting 2.5 points. We've got a total of 51. The Bears 4-3 against the spread, 4-2-1 to the over. Cincinnati 3-5 against the spread and 6-2 to the over. I mean, maybe you should think about taking over 51. Feels like an awful lot of points, though. In terms of a side, I'll be leaning towards the Bears here at -2.5. The Bengals don't have any pass rush at all and no way to stop the run, so this should be a massive spot for the Chicago running game, especially if Swift can be healthy. That keeps the ball out of the hands of the big-time skill players there on the Bengals. Flacco, having a banged-up shoulder, does not really sound great here. The over does seem reasonable. Obviously, 2 bad defenses, but I'm probably not going to be too big on anything from this game. I don't trust either team. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Minnesota Vikings heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Vikings have now lost 2 in a row. They're down to 3-4 on the season, so not exactly loving life right now. Last week, they lost 37-10 at the Chargers, and that game was not very competitive. They were down 21-3 at halftime. Carson Wentz dealing with a pretty monstrous injury there. It was pretty rough to see him getting ran out there. That was not great. The running game didn't do well at all. Justin Jefferson caught 7 of 11 balls for 74 yards. He's got to be about sick of ending up on a team that just has a revolving door there at quarterback. This dude should be putting up monster numbers, and what can you really do in this kind of situation if you're him? So that was a bit brutal. On defense, they couldn't stop anything the Chargers wanted to do, gave up 207 rushing yards and 227 passing yards, giving up 37 points, generating 1 interception. That's it, in 2 sacks. A rough day out there with the Vikings defensively, and it just has not looked great here recently. I mean, we'll see what happens. They're 19th in the NFL in points against. They are 20th in passing yards, 25th in rushing yards. Like, there's not a lot of positives right now for the Vikings. Now, the injury report depends on what you want to see here, but is maybe looking better. J.J. McCarthy going to be back under center. Is that a good thing? I have some questions. We do see could be without both their left tackle and their right tackle, so that is a big concern here, as McCarthy, not exactly somebody looks super comfortable back there in the pocket or moving around when he's getting pressured. So that is a problem. Defensively, they are mostly healthy. Isaiah Rodgers could be out for this game. Missing one of your starting cornerbacks is definitely not a good thing here when you're going on the road to take on the Detroit Lions. They come into this one 5-2 on the season. They are fresh off their bye week, and right before their bye week, they laid the wood there to the Buccaneers, winning that game 24-9. The Lions, they're looking pretty solid out there. Goff passed for 241 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception there against the Buccaneers, but the running game looked great. Gibbs and Montgomery, a 2-headed monster. This is a really tough thing to ask any NFL defense to deal with. In the Vikings defense, I do worry about them a lot in this matchup. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a big day there against the Buccaneers. Gibbs was very active in the passing game. We're just loving pretty much everything we're seeing from Detroit. They did turn the ball over twice in that game. That was not great, and Goff was sacked 4 times, so definitely still some things to improve. Defensively, though, a great day. Holding Baker and whoever was left out there for the Buccaneers to only 9 points is still a good showing. Had an interception, had 4 sacks, stopped the running game, also recovered a fumble. A very good day out there for a Detroit Lions defense that is pretty freaking solid, guys. They're 11th in the NFL, giving up 21.6 points per game, and I mean, they've been really good in some pretty big spots this season. So we'll see what they can do in this one. I'm expecting a good showing from them on both sides of the ball. The Lions, they're 8.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 48 in this game. The Vikings, 3-4 against the spread, 6-1 to the over. Detroit, 5-2 against the spread, 4-3 to the under. Guys, I love the Lions here at -8.5. I'm absolutely fading J.J. McCarthy in this game at basically any price below 10. The Minnesota offensive line is banged up. Both the right tackle and left tackle questionable here midweek. Dan Campbell and Jared Goff cover at home at around a 70% clip. The Vikings' run defense is terrible, so we're expecting big things out there from Gibbs and Montgomery in this game. Hey guys, hopping here with a quick shout out to the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, NFL, and college football picks. We had an extremely profitable time over the course of the week on NBA props. NHL has been doing really well also, so definitely want to get in on that. A big day of college football there yesterday, and obviously a big day of premium NFL picks over here at Stump the Spread. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Also, if you're not interested in signing up for the premium picks, just go to StumpTheSpread.com and check out the free picks there under the free picks tab. You also can use our free to use bet size calculator while you're over there, making sure you're not blowing your whole bankroll every single Sunday. Also, guys, you got to get over there to StumpTheSpread.com and get on that free email list. It's really easy. You just click the link in the description to get to StumpTheSpread.com, or type StumpTheSpread.com into your browser of choice. Click that little green login button at the top right corner. That will prompt you to sign up for an account. All they're going to ask you for is your name and your email address. That is it. You'll get one email straight to your inbox every single day. It'll have at least one, oftentimes 2 or 3 free picks in it. Great information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, good stuff like that. But maybe more importantly to you guys, information on parlays in there, touchdown props over there every single Sunday on the NFL side. I know we cashed a nice plus 310 touchdown prop last week and cashed a nice 510 one the week before. So lots of good information there on those touchdown props and just fantastic information in that email list as well. Definitely a great resource for any serious or, even recreational sports bettor. You definitely want to be getting in all the information you possibly can. And that's very easy to get that information. It's right there at your fingertips every single solitary day. So definitely get in on that if you guys are interested, but also get over there to StumpTheSpread.com and check out the premium picks, guys. It's a very good time to get in the mix over there for on the premium side. We got so many sports going on right now. It's a great time to sign up. There's just tons of value in those premium picks. We've got a team of experienced cappers over there that are making these picks, which usually will not match what you see from me here in the videos, as I am not the premium NFL handicapper over there at Stump the Spread. We have experts covering every major sport with over a decade's worth of experience on every single one. They're taking a crazy amount of data points into consideration on every single solitary play. You definitely want to get in on that. Now, last week, we had a little bit of a down week. We went only 2-3 on the premium side. That Giants pick did burn us. That Scadaboo injury was not great. The Steelers' second half collapse also did not help. The Cowboys did not come through, but they did cash their team total over 235.5, so that was nice. And the Jets, that was a nice play there, getting the Jets at plus 6.5. They come away with these straight up wins. So coming off a 2-3 week, I'm expecting a big bounce back, and honestly, getting in the mix there on the premium side after a bad day is sometimes a little bit better than getting in there after there's been some sick run, because when we had a bad day, the good days are coming. When we've had a bunch of good days in a row, eventually you have to give a little bit back. That's just kind of what happens out here. This isn't a sport that you're going to go, you're going to have a graph that goes straight up. You're going to have a graph that goes up diagonally and with some ups and downs. So definitely get in on that if you guys are interested. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, they get access to our members only giveaways. And we've got another members only giveaway coming up tomorrow. So when you're seeing this video, you definitely want to make sure you're signed up for a channel membership here on YouTube if you want to be eligible for that giveaway, guys. All you have to do is click that little join button right below there. YouTube will walk you through the process, but we put the name of every single YouTube channel member. We've got around, doing pretty good numbers there on the channel member side, somewhere around 90 to 100 on a weekly basis, it seems like. And every single name goes on that big wheel. We spin that wheel, and if it lands on your name, you get a Stump the Spread hoodie mailed straight to your address. So definitely get in on that if you guys are interested, but we got to go ahead and dive back in. We've got the whole rest of this very busy NFL slate to cover, and next up, we're going to be looking at the Carolina Panthers as they head to Green Bay to take on the Packers. The Panthers come into this game fresh off a tough showing there against the Bills. They were clearly outmatched in that game, eventually losing 40-9. So not exactly an amazing showing. Obviously, they are 4-4 on the season, so not having as bad of a year as some would have projected. We did see Andy Dalton under center last week. That will not be the case in this one. We will be hoping to see Dowdle and Hubbard both out there having good weeks. We'll see what they're able to do. Obviously, this is a team that would love to be able to run the ball. That's a big part of what this offense wants to do. They do have some decent options inefficiencies out there in the passing game, but just a whole lot of things that can be cleaned up this week as opposed to last week. They turned the ball over 3 total times. 3 of those turnovers, all 3 of them were from Andy Dalton. He was also sacked 7 times in this game. Not problems that we expect to see this week. Defensively, they looked bad against the Bills. Couldn't stop the run, and that is a concern here against the Packers. So we'll see if they can play a little bit better in this one. Obviously, not their best showing last week. Looking at the injury report, guys, I mean, it's looking much better. Bryce Young going to be back there at starting quarterback. That is a big, big deal. Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard both ready to go for this game. That's a huge deal. The offensive line, there's some question marks. Lewis, Mays, Moten, all questionable for this game. I am expecting most of them to probably find a way to make their way back for this one. We'll have to kind of wait and see a little bit on that. But I do think they're going to be close to healthy. Maybe not fully healthy, but close to healthy there on the offensive line. So that should certainly help. Defensively, got a couple guys questionable there as well. But once again, guys like Nick Scott, I could definitely see him being back. He was already practicing there on Thursday. So I think they're going to be close to healthy there on defense as they head to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Green Bay, heck of a second half for them there against the Steelers. Come back and win that game by 10 last week. They have won 3 in a row, but with wins over the Bengals, Cardinals, and Steelers, and most of those games were pretty competitive. It is not exactly looking like the Green Bay Packers team that a lot of people had penciled in as a Super Bowl team. So we'll see what happens in this one. Obviously, against the Steelers, a lot of things went right for them. Jordan Love, a great day, sacked 0 times, passed for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns. The running game looked good, maybe not completely dominant, but usable for sure. And defensively giving up 25 points, giving up only 9 in the second half. Looks okay. They held Rodgers in check for the most part, slowed down but did not stop the Steelers' running game. They did generate only that 1 turnover and 3 sacks, so I'm sure they're hoping to have a little bit better of a performance there defensively in this one. I mean, over the course of the season, the Packers defense is 10th in the NFL, giving up 21.4 points per game. So that's not like a crazy, crazy dominant defense. And looking at their injury report here, Josh Jacobs, questionable for this game. That's obviously a big, big deal here. He's dealing with a calf issue. He did practice in a limited way there on Thursday, but I would be awfully, awfully careful with calf injuries, guys. You've seen it in the NBA time and time again. That can lead very quickly and very traumatically to an Achilles tear. Now, we do see Christian Watson questionable, but maybe the biggest problem here is their offensive line is also super banged up. Aaron Banks, Morgan, and Zach Tom, all questionable for this game, and at least 2 of them are in danger of missing this one. So we'll see if they actually find a way to come back. But a couple bad steps and their offensive line could all of a sudden be pretty much decimated here with injuries. So we'll see if they're able to run the ball and protect Jordan Love. Defensively, they're relatively healthy. Walker and Wyatt both on the injury report. Walker there at linebacker did not participate in practice there on Thursday. And if he doesn't play, that's kind of a big deal here going up against a Carolina team that really, really wants to run the ball. So looking at the numbers for this one, guys, the Packers are 13.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 44.5. The Panthers 5-3 against the spread, 5-3 to the over. Green Bay 3-4 against the spread, and 4-3 to the over themselves. I'm not, wild about over 44.5 in this game, but I don't think it's a terrible spot. What I do think is an excellent spot here is the Panthers getting 13.5 points. Is betting on the Panthers fun? No, it is not fun. But with Bryce Young back here, that's a big deal. The Panthers allow the 5th fewest plays per game, so the teams they play don't get the big play opportunities early in the series as much. The Packers are an explosive team, but they don't make a lot of super long drives. Despite what happened last week, Carolina has been decent in run defense. Jordan Love is 0-4 against the spread as a favorite of 7 or more points. Green Bay always plays to the level of their competition, and I think that's going to allow the Panthers, while probably not to win this game, obviously, to keep it within a couple touchdowns. Rolling right along here, guys, we got the Los Angeles Chargers heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Chargers are 5-3 on the season. They're coming off a 37-10 win last week against the Vikings, so they had a get-right spot, and they did use it to get right. A very, very dominant showing. We loved what we saw from Herbert, except for that 1 interception, 3 touchdown passes, 227 yards. Not a bad day from him. The running game was very, very much online, including Herbert, who ran the ball himself for 62 yards. That's been a nice little thing he's added. McConkey having a good day out there, 6 catches on 10 targets for 88 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad day out there for the offense. And defensively, they were great. Now, they were facing a backup quarterback, obviously, but gave up only 10 points. Ended Carson Wentz's season, sacking him 5 times. Didn't give anything to the run. A very, very good day out there for a Chargers team that really needed a nice bounce back defensively, because they've had their ups and downs defensively, and they were supposed to be a juggernaut on that side of the ball. So we'll see if that comes back here a little bit. Looking at their injury report here, McConkey is questionable for this game, which isn't great, obviously. That calf issue kept him a limited limited participant in practice on Thursday, but he was out there. They're relatively healthy except for that. Becton is questionable there at right guard, but there is a good chance that he ends up playing in this game. On defense, still is questionable, or doubtful actually. He's been downgraded, so he might not be out there, but Cam Hart is questionable at cornerback. That's probably not a huge concern when you're going up against a team like the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-7 on the season. They're fresh off a 38-14 loss there at the Colts, so not having a good time in that one. Cam Ward trying to do whatever he can. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 4 times, passed for 259 yards. I mean, you can only do so much. The running game couldn't really do too much outside of that 141-yard run there from Tajee Spears. The wide receiver group is not looking amazing, and just the defense is so bad, guys. They gave up 38 points, 272 yards and 3 touchdowns to Daniel Jones. They gave up 164 rushing yards, could not stop Jonathan Taylor. I mean, there's not a lot of positives to find right now for Tennessee. They're just getting blown out week after week, and they are banged up a little bit. We do see Calvin Ridley questionable for this game. Their tight ends also questionable, and on defense, a bunch of guys questionable for an already terrible defensive unit. So we'll see what they can do at home in this one. They are 9-point underdogs here at home. We've got a total of 43.5. The Chargers 3-4-1 against the spread, a 500 over/under team. Tennessee 2-6 against the spread, 5-3 to the over. Not interested in the total in this game, guys, but I'll definitely take the Chargers here at -9. I think they're in fantastic shape in the game. Do they ever cover a number this big? I would say yes, they do. If they're ever going to do it, it's going to be against the Titans here. They are an insanely bad team. No reason to back them, as they're missing both their number 1 and number 2 corners and their best run stopper. Anything under 10, we for sure love the Chargers in this game. Harbaugh, in his whole career going east to west, is actually somehow 15-4 against the spread in this kind of spot. So this is a smash spot for us here on the LA Chargers. Next up, we're looking at the Atlanta Falcons heading to New England to take on the Patriots. The Falcons 3-4 on the season. They're fresh off a 34-10 blowout loss at the hands of the Miami Dolphins. How does that even happen, guys? It was nuts. I mean, part of how it happens is you got Kirk Cousins there under center, and he wasn't great. 21 of 31, but only 173 passing yards, sacked once, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The running game did not get going at all. That is a massive problem for this team. They have to be able to run the ball, or nothing good is going to be happening for them anytime soon. So that was not good. They were also banged up there at wide receiver, an issue that might be persisting into this game. We'll see. Robinson also fumbled it away once, so they had a turnover, and the defense was horrendous. They couldn't stop Tua. That is crazy to me. Gave up 4 touchdown passes, only had 1 sack, 0 interceptions, gave up 141 rushing yards. Just a flat-out bad day for the Falcons there all around. So this is not the first time that's happened to this team either. They got obliterated there 30-0 at the Panthers early in the season. So we'll see what happens in this one. Their injury report right now, Penix, questionable. Drake London, questionable. Kyle Pitts, Sr., questionable, and Jake Matthews questionable there on the offensive line. Algier is also questionable at running back, so a lot of problems here. It does appear that Penix is going to be out there. He did practice a little bit there on Thursday, so he's probably going to be out there. Drake London seems like he's probably trending towards a return as well. He practiced there on Thursday, but we're just going to kind of have to wait and see. Now, defensively, they're just super banged up. They're potentially missing 5 starters there on defense. Now, a lot of these guys could end up playing, but right now, it is not looking so hot as they go on the road to take on the New England Patriots, who are cruising right now. They're 6-2 on the season. They just blew out the Browns last week. Playing at Cleveland, tough. Playing at home against Cleveland, not usually that rough, guys. The Patriots obviously taking advantage of some very easy schedule right now, but Drake May looking great. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 282 yards there against the Browns. He was sacked 6 times, 5 of those times by Myles Garrett, but Henderson did a great job in the running game. Drake May ran the ball for 50 yards himself on 7 carries. This isn't an amazing wide receiver group, but Drake May is making them look good, or maybe vice versa. We'll have to find out someday. But overall, a good day there for the Patriots on offense, and on defense, going up against a backup quarterback in the Browns offense, they looked very good. Only gave up 13 points, had a couple interceptions, slowed down the run, slowed down everything the Browns wanted to do. So it was a good day out there for the Patriots against a pretty bad team. Are the Falcons a pretty bad team? Well, they did look like that last week, so we'll see what they look like in this one. Now, the Patriots injury report looks much better. Ramondre Stevenson, the only starter there unhealthy there on the offensive side of the ball. He did not practice there on Thursday, but I don't think they lose too much if we see Trayvon Henderson getting the bulk of the carries. Other than that, they're healthy on offense, and they are fully healthy right now on defense. That is a huge deal at this point in the season. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Patriots are 5.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 45 in this game. Atlanta 3-4 against the spread, 5-1-1 to the under. The Patriots are 6-2 against the spread, 4-4 to the over/under. Guys, I know you're not supposed to back teams that are winning this many times in a row against the spread, but I just cannot justify taking the Falcons right here. Give me the Patriots at -5.5. The Falcons' entire defense is banged up. We don't know if Penix or Drake London will be able to play in this one, at least not for sure. Does seem like they're probably trending towards returns, but it is noteworthy that they're barely practicing. They are practicing, but they're barely practicing. The Patriots are at home and killing it game after game and very healthy coming into this one. Penix outdoors lost to Carolina 30-0. And lost against the San Francisco 49ers, scoring only 10 points in his other outdoor games. So, yeah, this is going to be a spot we're very, very likely to back the New England Patriots. Cruising through these games, we're looking at the San Francisco 49ers heading to New York to take on the Giants. The 49ers come into this game 5-3 on the season. That actually puts them there tied in the win column, but one game back in the loss column for the top spot in the NFC West. They're fresh off a 26-15 loss at the Texans, which we were on the Texans in that game, so thank you 49ers for finding the loss there. Mac Jones, not a good day. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked twice, but only completed 19 of 32 passes. Didn't look amazing. It seems like he's still maybe a little bit banged up out there. McCaffrey could not get going in the running game. Didn't even really get going that much in the passing game. And overall, it's just a rough day offensively for the 49ers, playing on the road against what has turned out to be a very good Houston Texans defense. So we'll see if they can bounce back a little bit. They only had the 1 turnover, but also only managed 15 points. The defense did not look good. The injuries are really taking their toll here for the 49ers. They made CJ Stroud look really, really good out there despite not having his number 1 wide receiver. They also could not stop the running game at all, and Houston has not been running the ball great this season. So that is all very concerning stuff for the 49ers. They come into this game a little bit banged up. There's a chance that Purdy and Pershaw could both be back for this game. They could also have their starting center miss this one, though. That would not be great. The injury stuff is still fairly up in the air. Mac Jones is ready if needed, but that's not the direction they'd like to go. The problem, the big injury problem here for the 49ers is their defense. Huff, Elliott, Winters, and Stout, all questionable for this game, is a big deal. If basically any of those guys miss this game, it is a big deal, even in this matchup against the Giants. So we'll see what they're able to do defensively, but it's not looking great. The Giants, they're 2-6 on the season, a very disheartening loss and injury to kind of the heart and soul of this team last week. We'll see if they've got a bounce back in them, though. I mean, we didn't necessarily love what we saw from Jackson Dart last week. 1 touchdown, but sacked 5 times and only passing for 193 yards. It wasn't a complete terrible showing, but it also was not great. Tyron Tracy Jr. tried to come in and fill the void left by Scadaboo, but it did not really go amazing there at running back. And the wide receiver group, I mean, this team really misses Malik Neighbors. I know, newsflash, they need one of the best wide receivers in football available to play, but that's just not going to be the reality. Injuries are really handicapping the Giants right now. Defensively, they got shredded by the Eagles. Couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass, couldn't do anything good. So we'll see if they've got a little bit of a bounce back in them in this one. Obviously, going against the 49ers, who were banged up, should be a lot easier. Offensively, they're relatively healthy, could be missing their number 3 wide receiver, could possibly be missing 1 offensive lineman, but other than that, they're good. Obviously, with the major exception of Scadaboo, that was a huge deal. Defensively, they're a little bit banged up in the secondary, and that is not great. We'll see if any of these guys end up being able to go, but it is very up in the air right now. Looking at the numbers, the Giants are getting 2.5 points. We've got a total of 48.5. San Francisco, 4-4 against the spread, 4-3-1 to the over. The Giants, 4-4 against the spread, and also a 500 over-under team. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I actually like the over better than I like the side in this one. With so many injuries for both defenses, I do think we'll find some offense in this game. Giants defense is terrible. 49ers defense isn't going to have anyone available, or at least that's what's being reported right now. So we do think over has some value. And in terms of a side, it's going to depend on a lot on that injury stuff, but I'm leading just slightly here towards the Giants and the points at home. It could be kind of a rah-rah spot here as they try and win one for Scadaboo, but I mean, this is not going anywhere near the pinned comment. Rolling through these games, we're looking at the Indianapolis Colts heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Colts are 7-1 on the year, having a great season. They blew out the Titans last week after a nice win over the Chargers, and they're pretty much running roughshod over every opponent they face right now. We'll see what they can look like here going up against the Steelers, but right now, the Colts are cruising. Daniel Jones looked great last week, albeit against the Titans. 3 touchdowns, no picks, 3 sacks. Just very good news from him. Jonathan Taylor continues to be one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in the NFL. Snapped off an 80-yard run last week, had 153 yards and 2 touchdowns on only 12 carries. That's kind of nuts. He also had a touchdown reception. Dude is a touchdown machine. I don't know what to tell you. It's been absolutely bonkers. Also, the wide receiver group is looking much better. Who would have thought that Daniel Jones could elevate a wide receiver group like this? He's really, really killing it. Got to give the dude credit where credit is due. Defensively, giving up only 14 points to anyone is good. It was the Titans, so it does come with a grain of salt. But defensively, the Colts have been decent this year. Had 4 sacks last week. That's good. Slowed down, but didn't stop the run. Overall, a pretty good day out there for the Colts defensively. And in general this season, the Colts defense has not been bad. They're 6th in the NFL, giving up only 19.3 points per game. So, yeah, pretty good work there. And they're the most dangerous offense in the NFL right now, at least by the numbers. So, looking at the injury report here, it's looking amazing. They're fully healthy there on offense. You'd never see that this deep into the season. They're almost fully healthy on defense. The only guy on the report is Stewart. He is questionable there at left defensive tackle. And, yeah, we don't have a lot of clarity on whether or not he's going to come back for this game, but looks like there's at least a chance. They're going to be taking on the Steelers in this one. Now, Pittsburgh let us down big time last week, losing 35-25 after getting off to a nice lead there at halftime. That was a bit brutal since we were on the Steelers in the points in a classic Mike Tomlin underdog at home spot, but he did not make it happen. Aaron Rodgers, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, sacked 3 times, picked off 0. Not a terrible day, but doesn't look like he can really go out there and win a game for you right now. Jalen Warren was fine running the ball. Gainwell actually looked really good in the running game. Also, in terms of ball security, though, Gainwell did fumble it away once. I'm kind of going to be shocked if we see him get as many carries in this one after that clutch mistake. 25 points is not a bad day, but when you give up 35, that's a huge problem. And the Steelers' defense has been terrible. They had 0 answer for Jordan Love, 0 answer for the Packers' running game, 0 answer for Tucker Kraft there, just running very good routes, catching 2 touchdown passes and 143 yards. No positives right now for the Steelers' defense. It is horrible. They are 22nd in the NFL, giving up 25 points per game. And I'll be honest, it actually feels like it's worse than that. Now, looking at the injury report, could be missing 2 starting offensive linemen here, which is a huge problem. Rodgers gets the ball out really, really fast, but you don't want to see him take a lot of hits, that's for sure. Other than that, they're healthy on offense. On defense, there could be missing Holcomb and Elliott. That would be pretty unfortunate both for the linebacker group and the secondary, so going to have to keep a close eye on those guys' availability. But looking at the numbers here, guys, the Steelers, they're getting 3 points at home. We've got a total of 50.5 in this game. The Colts 6-2 against the spread, 5-3 to the over. The Steelers 3-4 against the spread, 5-2 to the over themselves. I'm not going to take over 50.5. That's a really, really big number, but I will take the Colts here at -3. Steelers defense has been terrible. Daniel Jones has been awesome this season. Sure, he's probably going to have some sort of implosion game at some point this year, but I don't think it's going to be against the Steelers. The Colts secondary is banged up, though, especially at cornerback. That's not ideal. Trends say to back Tomlin here coming off a blow-off loss, but that is what the Trends told us last week, and they were absolutely worked there by the Packers. Steelers are banged up for this game, especially on the offensive line. Guys, give me the Colts here at -3. I think they stay hot in this one, despite playing on the road. It's not maybe the ideal conditions here for Indianapolis, but I think they can come out on top in this one by at least a touchdown. I think they get the cover. Rolling along here, we're looking at the Denver Broncos heading to Houston to take on the Texans. The Broncos 6-2 on the season, fresh off a big 44-24 win over the Cowboys. So well played there by Denver. We liked what we saw from Bo Nix. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, albeit against one of the worst defenses in the National Football League. Got to take it with a grain of salt. J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, massive days running the ball. Very, very good work on the ground. Overall, a great day offensively for the Broncos. And on defense, they were also very solid. Giving up 24 points and picking off Dak twice is not a bad outing by any stretch. They did give up a little bit to the run, but not too much. A very good day for what's supposed to be a very, very good defense. But that good defense has had some bad days mixed in there. They gave up 32 points to the Giants in a game they definitely should have lost. Other than that, they have looked fairly solid. Definitely didn't have a great time there against the Colts, although that game, a lot of controversy there at the end. We'll see what they look like in this one. The problem in this game, guys, Marvin Mims could be missing there on offense. That's not a big deal. The big problem is Pat Surtain is doubtful for this game. Seems very unlikely to go. Not planning on putting him on the IR, but it does not sound like he's any chance really of playing in this game. So that's going to change a lot of what they want to do on defense. And that could be a bit of a problem here as they head to Houston to take on the Texans, who are 3-4 on the year, coming off a much-needed 26-15 win there over the 49ers. Obviously, they're way behind the Colts there in the AFC South, but still work to do here for the Texans for sure. Not time for them to give up or anything like that. In that win over the 49ers, we liked what we saw from C.J. Stroud, and things will be getting a little bit easier for him here as Nico Collins is slated to come back off the concussion list. But Stroud, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 0 times. Threw for 318 yards in that game. Very, very good look there. The running game really got going for Houston. That was also very helpful. Marks and Chubb killing it out there. And the defense looked great, albeit against a super banged up 49ers team, I know, but they only gave up 15 points. And especially when playing at home, the Houston Texans defense has been excellent, guys. They gave up 20 points to Baker Mayfield and the Bucs back when they were healthy in week 2. That's a big deal. Against the Titans, they pitched a shutout, and then this is their next home game. Or the next home game was against the 49ers, just like we talked about, a great day there. So I think they gave Bo Nix and company a lot of trouble in this one. And looking at their injury report, obviously Nico Collins back, like we said, that's a big deal. Dalton Schultz is questionable. He could probably miss this one. That's not great, but defensively, they're fully healthy, and that is a big, big thing. So look at the numbers, guys. The Texans are actually 1.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 40 in this game. Denver, 3-4-1 against the spread, 5-3 to the under. Houston, 3-4 against the spread, 4-2-1 to the under. I actually think under 40 could be reasonable in this spot, but much better than that. I'll take the Texans at -1.5. While Nico Collins will be back for this game, there's a good chance we don't see Dalton Schultz or Christian Kirk. That's not ideal, but the Texans defense has been amazing, and they are very healthy. Pat Surtain being out is a huge, huge problem. I'm comfortable here fading Bo Nix going against a great defense, and like I said, that under seems reasonable as well. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. The Jaguars coming off of a loss against the Rams, a 35-7 loss against the Rams last week. Not a great look. They are also fresh off their bye week, so maybe that'll help them get their heads back on straight. They're about to take on the Raiders. They come into this game off their bye week also, so a little bit of a wash there on the bye week situation. But the Jaguars, their last time out, got obliterated by the Rams. Not a good look. Didn't do anything right in that game, really. Trevor Lawrence passed for almost 300 yards. No interceptions, but was sacked 7 times. They couldn't get the running game going too much either. That was the London game. So, the London Jaguars, as usually a thing, that was not a thing that time. Did nothing good on defense. Gave up 5 passing touchdowns to Stafford. Couldn't stop the run either. Just a terrible, terrible game there for the Jaguars. Now, in terms of their injury report, they're not all that healthy. Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. both questionable for this game, despite coming off of their bye week. Now, Brian Thomas Jr., he did practice on Thursday. That's a great sign. And Travis Hunter remains questionable. So we'll see if he can get it out there. The defense is very banged up, though. The linebacker core could be missing 2 starters, and the secondary could also be missing 2 starters. So not a full-strength Jaguars team as they head to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, who are fresh off their bye week, which right before their bye week, they lost 31-0 against the Chiefs. I would say things are looking horrible. Geno Smith, 67 passing yards against the Chiefs. The running game didn't work. Nothing worked. They got shut out in that game. The defense didn't work. Gave up 3 touchdowns, 1 sack. A terrible, terrible day there across the board for the Raiders. Now, their injury report looks much better offensively, but on defense, Max Crosby is questionable. That's a huge deal. He's their best player on either side of the ball, really. And if he ends up not being able to play, that is a big, big problem. So looking at the numbers, guys, the Raiders are getting 3 points. We've got a total of 44.5. The Jaguars are 4-3 against the spread, 4-3 to the under. The Raiders are 2-5 against the spread, 5-2 to the under. The Jaguars defense is banged up here. It's going to be a little bit depressing for them, as they would be excited to go against Geno Smith and get some shots at easy interceptions. The Raiders are also kind of banged up and have been so bad this season. I will take the Jaguars here at -3, but guys, this is not a game I am interested in whatsoever. Keep me far, far away from these 2 horrible, horrible teams. Next on the docket, we're looking at the New Orleans Saints heading to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Saints are 1-7 on the season, so speaking of horrible teams, here's one. They lost to the Buccaneers 23-3 their last time out, so not exactly having a great time out there. Pretty miserable stuff for the Saints. They are going to be making a change at quarterback, so we'll see if that has the desired result. Last week, obviously, they didn't love what they saw from Spencer Rattler, so this week we are going to see and theoretically for the rest of the season, we'll see if they stick to that if he's bad. Tyler Shuck is going to be under center. Not a great look. I'm a little bit worried about that situation. Kamara and Shaheed are both questionable as well, so we'll see. We'll see if this has the desired impact there for the Saints, but it's not exactly looking amazing for me. Changing your quarterback mid-season, not usually a sign of your team doing anything positive whatsoever. So we'll see how things go. A little bit banged up on offense, relatively healthy on defense, but their defense this season has been atrocious. 24th in the NFL, giving up 26.1 points per game. So we'll see what they can do heading to LA to take on the Rams, who are coming off of their bye week. Before their bye week, they went to London and obliterated the Jaguars. Puka Nacua declaring himself ready to face the Saints. So we'll see if the training staff agrees with him, but it sounds like he's going to play. That's a big deal. In that blowout win over the Jaguars, they did everything right. Stafford, 5 touchdown passes. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum both doing a great job on the ground. Overall, just a ton of positives for a Rams team that didn't even have their best wide receiver. So very good stuff there. Defensively, they were amazing, only giving up 7 points there against the Jaguars. And this season on defense, the Rams have been amazing. 3rd in the National Football League, giving up 16.7 points per game. Their injury report coming into this one's looking very, very good. Puka Nacua healthy. We do see Darius Williams and Kitchens also questionable coming into this one, but coming off their bye week, I think there's an excellent chance both these guys start this game. So looking at the numbers, the Rams are 14-point favorites. We've got a total of 44 in this one. The Saints are 2-6 against the spread, 5-3 to the under. The Rams are 5-2 against the spread, 4-3 to the under themselves. I'm not going to take under 44 in this game, I don't think, but I love the Rams here at minus 14. I wish we could get it at 13.5. That would be great, but it looks like it's moving to 14.5, so jump in on this one if you can, but I think the Rams are going to absolutely obliterate the Saints in this one. The Rams are having a great year. They're currently first or tied for first there in the NFC West. They need these wins to keep pace, and I think this is a spot where they definitely get a massive one against the Saints team that's putting a new quarterback under center here playing on the road. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at not the Sunday Night Football matchup. Kind of shocking that this isn't. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs heading to Buffalo to take on the Bills in pretty much the biggest game of the day. Now, the Chiefs, they're 5-3 on the season. They've won 3 in a row. That big win over the Lions, that was their biggest win. Then obliterating the Raiders and beating the Commanders. Okay, cool. Those are games you were supposed to win, but they handled business comfortably there against the Commanders, getting us the win and cover. Loved what we saw from Mahomes there. Aside from those 2 interceptions, those weren't great, but figured things out later in the game. Ended up with almost 300 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Was sacked 3 times, ran the ball 4 times for 30 yards, so that was nice. Pacheco and Hunt did a good job in the running game. Pacheco, though, is on the injury report, though. We'll see how that goes. Kelsey, a vintage Kelsey day, guys. Caught 6 out of 8 balls for 99 yards and a touchdown. Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Now that this team has all their weapons back on offense, things are looking an awful lot different, and the defense has been good all year long. Made life miserable there for Mariota, and the running game was terrible there for the Commanders. Really, the Chiefs dominated this game defensively and offensively, but giving up only 7 points is nuts, and over the course of the year, they are second in the NFL, giving up only 16.4 points per game. Their injury report looks a little bit messy. We do have a couple guys questionable on the offensive line. Got to keep an eye on those, but I do think there's a decent chance we see at least one of them suit up. And Pacheco being on the injury report and not practicing on Thursday is not as big of a deal as it seems. I actually think Kareem Hunt and Brashard Smith can get the job done if Pacheco can't go. Now, defensively, they are fully healthy and locked and loaded. This is a monster Chiefs defense, and they've got to be very excited to go out and show what they can do going up against the reigning MVP. The Bills are 5-2 on the season. They're fresh off a 40-9 blowout win there over the Panthers, which cashed our lock of the day, so that was great. But it was the Panthers, so we can only take so much from that. I honestly didn't love necessarily what I saw from Josh Allen. I mean, they didn't have to make him do too much. 1 touchdown, 12 of 19, 163 yards. He was sacked a couple times. James Cook did the heavy lifting there with 216 yards on the ground. They are not going to have that kind of success in the running game against the Chiefs. That is just not going to be a thing. Defensively, they shut down the Panthers and backup quarterback Andy Dalton. Congrats on that. That also does not impress me too much. If you look at what the Bills have done this season, they've beaten the Ravens in that insane game on opening night where they should have lost and ended up winning by 1. They've beat the Jets, Dolphins, Saints, lost to the Patriots, lost to the Falcons, and then had their bye week and then blew out the Panthers. I'm not loving what I'm seeing from the Bills right now, especially on defense. Now, offensively, they're pretty much healthy. Defensively, they're getting a lot healthier, but I don't think that's going to change the talent that's on this roster. So looking at the numbers, guys, the Bills are getting 2 points. We've got a total of 52.5. Kansas City, 5-3 against the spread, 5-3 to the under. The Bills, 3-4 against the spread, 4-3 to the under. Not interested in the total in this game, guys, but I'm very interested in the Chiefs here at -2. Seems like a lot of professional money coming in on the Chiefs. We are okay with that. Tickets might end up being on the Bills. We'll see, but looks like the money is going to be on the Chiefs, and that's where our money is going to be. We do have historical trends here that point to Kansas City and to Mahomes as a favorite of less than 3. Over the course of his career, he's been very good against the spread there. Kansas City has been the hotter team here. The Bills' defense is a huge concern. Kansas City is great defensively, and they're fully healthy on that side of the ball. I think Josh Allen could be in for a really bad night. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Seattle Seahawks going on the road to take on the Washington Commanders. The Seahawks are 5-2 on the season. They're fresh off a 27-19 win there over the Texans. They're also fresh off of their bye week. We'll see what they can do coming off that bye. That's usually a pretty good spot for just about anybody. Now, the last time they were out there, they won. I'm not going to say they obliterated the Texans. Won that game by 8. Seattle was playing at home. Darnold had an okay day. He did get picked off once. We also saw Cooper Kupp throw an interception. That was not great. Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet had pretty decent days running the ball. That's a big deal. Jackson Smith and Jigba looks like an absolute monster out there. So congrats to all you guys that drafted him in your fantasy teams. I have him on 1 out of my 2 fantasy teams. So that was pretty nice to have him. I also have Cooper Kupp. He's been a bit of a disappointment. But overall, a very good day offensively for Seattle against a pretty good Houston Texans defense. Now, they did do okay defensively themselves, gave up 1 touchdown but 1 interception also there against CJ Stroud and sacked him 3 times. They completely bottled up the Houston rushing attack, and they only gave up 19 points, which is a good showing for a Seattle Seahawks defense that is 7th in the NFL, giving up 19.4 points per game. Their injury report is looking very, very good. Cooper Kupp is questionable, but other than that, they're healthy on offense, and on defense, close to healthy as well. Julian Love, Jaron Reed, both likely to be back for this game, it sounds like to me. So if they have a fully healthy defense as well, that should be a big deal here as they take on the Washington Commanders, who are now 3-5 on the season. They are well behind the Eagles there in the NFC East. They're coming off that 28-7 loss against the Chiefs. The good news is they are going to have Daniels back for this game. No more Mariota under center. He didn't look that great against the Chiefs. The running game got bottled up. It was a rough night out there for the Commanders, but any team that lost their starting quarterback going to take a big step back. Now, the defensive effort there from Washington was very concerning. Aside from those 2 interceptions they got against Mahomes, they had no answers for anything that the Chiefs wanted to do out there. And now they're about to face a Seattle Seahawks team that is very talented offensively as well. Now, in terms of their injury report, Terry McLaurin is confirmed out for this game. That is a big deal. One of their best offensive weapons is officially sidelined. We also see Tunsil is questionable there at left tackle. They might not have their full increment of offensive linemen. Defensively, they are very healthy, but I'm not sure how excited we should get about that. The Washington Commanders are giving up 24.8 points per game. That is 21st in the NFL. I think they might be in for a rough game. Looking at the numbers, they're getting 3 points. We've got a total of 47.5 in this one. Seattle's 5-2 against the spread this year. They're 4-3 to the over. Washington's 3-5 against the spread, 4-3-1 to the under. I'll be on Seattle here -3. Jaden Daniels is back in practice fully this week, which is a huge deal. Washington's looked pretty bad without him. The Commanders' pass defense is bottom 5 in the NFL in basically every statistic. Seattle's going to be passing it. There is no doubt there. Everyone is healthy for the Seahawks. That is a big deal. I'll be back in Seattle here despite the fact they're playing on the road. I think the Commanders and even Jaden Daniels, who is still not at 100% of what he was last season, could be in for a rough night. That's all the games we have here for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I appreciate everybody watching these videos. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description. Get over there to stumpthespread.com. Check out the free picks we have for this NFL Sunday. Check out that free email newsletter. Definitely want to get in on that. That's where you'll be able to find all of our touchdown props for today. Definitely want to get in on those. Also, get over there to stumpthespread.com and check out all of the premium stuff we've got going on over there. It's been a very hot run here on the NBA player props. Very nice run on the NHL season. It's been going really well, and definitely a nice bounce back loading here for NFL Sunday. So definitely get on that if you guys are interested. We'll be right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.